All right, check back with you very soon, Cindy. The state of Minnesota has filed a human rights complaint against the Minneapolis Police Department in connection with the death of George Floyd. It's coming after demonstrations continue, of course, in Minneapolis, in Southwest Florida, and across the country, and now around the world, including as far away as Paris, France. But there was a setback today in Fort Myers for a larger demonstration that was planned by the Lee County Chapter of the NAACP. It had to be canceled officially because of threats of violence made on a white supremacist website. James Mawakil, who's the president of the Lee County chapter of the NAACP, says the Lee County Sheriff's Office advised him it would be best to cancel the demonstration. But some folks still showed up anyway after it was officially canceled. Mawakil says the threats were made toward local businesses, including threats to burn down buildings. The cancellation, he says, was made to keep anyone from getting hurt. As you saw, some folks still showed up, and while that was kind of a smaller gathering compared to what we've seen lately, it did give us an opportunity to hear some personal stories from people in our community. Tonight, 4 in Your Corner's Sandra Rodriguez shows you what it is that's bringing so many people to these local demonstrations throughout Southwest Florida. Sandra?
Well, it was about 25 people that gathered here. I spoke with one woman who tells me feeling racism firsthand is something that really affected her as a child. Here's her story of why she's fighting for change.
Everyone is equal.
Calls for justice and racial equality ringing through downtown Fort Myers as peaceful demonstrators gathered outside of the U.S. federal courthouse Tuesday.
I just need to make a voice. Can't just sit back and do nothing and then complain.
Like Shoni Gary.
We want justice.
Gary says she first experienced racism when she moved from Detroit to Kentucky as a child.
When I moved to Kentucky in the 5th grade, I talked very, very different than the people in Kentucky. And I was made a mockery of by my 5th grade teacher.
Gary says she now realizes it was racism coming from her teacher, something that really affected her education moving forward.
I went from all A's and B's in Detroit to all D's and F's in Kentucky.
She was able to get back on track when she reached high school, but it wasn't easy.
Now that I look back, I realize there's children who are probably being left behind.
Now she worries for her grandkids and the missed opportunities they could face if things don't change.
And that's not fair to our children. That's not fair to our future, because our children are our future.
Gary is calling for people to not only be angry, but also take action.
A lot of the people in the black communities only go out for presidential votes. We have to change that. We need to get out on every single election and make our voices heard.
Gary says she wants to continue to be a positive voice and force in this community. Now, yesterday I did speak with a demonstrator who actually served in the U.S. military for 30 years. I'll have her story coming up during the next half hour. In Fort Myers, Sandra Rodriguez, Fox 4 in Your Corner.